Well, it's another cold day in the Pacific Northwest, but I've got something I really want to show you guys. So in this video, I want to talk about two things. First, I want to take you out in my landscape and show you what I'm so excited about right now. And second, I've been seeing some comments on YouTube and people are talking about propagating plants that should be propagated as semi-hardwood cuttings that take a little bit longer to root, and they're wondering why nothing's happening. So anyway, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about why. I want to talk about what, and we're going to cover it all right now. So today is March 2nd, and I love the month of March because March feels like spring to me, and I know that I'm going to start seeing massive amounts of color all over my property. If you guys have been following me for a while, then you've seen some of the videos, the walkthroughs of my landscape and all the rhododendrons that are blooming. It starts out small. We're in March, and I've got a couple early blooming varieties, namely Jody and Snow Lady. They're the first bloomers, and then we get PJM Elite start coming on, and they start off slow, one at a time, and then all of a sudden we start creeping up in the weeks, and before long, in another month and a half, boom, color everywhere. But because I just saw this the other day, my daughter and I were sitting on the trampoline, and she goes, "Dad, look at that!" And it's like all of a sudden you see that little first bit of color. Although it's a white rhododendron, you see that little bit of, brightness out there, and it just catches your eye. I want to take you out there now, and I want to show you that. Check it out, guys. It's subtle, but it's beautiful. Look at that bright, brilliant white. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I planted 4 of them all together here, so they're going to grow in beautifully and really fill this area in. Now, this is one of my first blooming rhododendrons. It is a more tender variety, and I've got it planted under some really deep shady area where it's covered by this canopy of fir trees, and so it stays not warm, but it kind of protects from frost, I guess, under this area. And so they come out a little earlier, but they're a more delicate variety, and you really got to keep them planted in an area that's more protected. But they perform year after year. One of the first bloomers I have here. I'm going to take you over and show you some more of these Snow Lady rhododendrons that haven't quite opened up yet. Now, real quick, on my way over to the Snow Lady, I noticed this. This is my PJM Elite, and it's just starting to open up. This is one that opens up another week or so. You'll start seeing all these buds opening up, and it's just the very beginning that says, hey guys, we're out here, we're starting, spring is coming, it's on its way. Man, the longer I'm out here, the more I'm seeing. So this is Thomsonii. This is a species rhododendron, and it's starting to open up. This is another earlier blooming rhododendron. The species generally open up a little bit earlier, but beautiful red, deep red flower. Absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait till that one opens up. Oh, and look at this one, guys. This is Peter Falk. This is another beautiful red, but look what I just noticed. Another early bloomer. Starting to get just little bits of red. Just starting to peek out of these blooms. Oh man, guys, this is going to explode. All these buds along here, just going to explode with color. All right, here's that other Snow Lady, and this is the oldest one I have. The other ones you saw were taken from cuttings of this mother here, but it's probably 5 foot wide there. I know it doesn't look that big in the camera, but it's about 5 foot wide, probably 3 foot from, I don't know, from front to back here, and then just a couple feet high. It's a smaller, lower growing, and like I said, a little bit more, not fragile, it just needs to be a little more protected. But I've got it planted here under this pink dogwood, which isn't leafed out yet, but that's a beautiful one when it opens up. Anyway, you can see this one isn't quite as protected as the other one, and so the buds are still trying to open up, but we've got some little buds opening up there. Look at that. And they're all starting within a week. This thing is just going to be brilliant white all over here. But that's where it gets a little scary, because some of these earlier blooming varieties, it can freeze really hard and just kick them in the butt, or in the bud, one of the two. But that's what I get a little worried about with these earlier bloomers. Last year we experienced that. The buds started opening up, and then it froze real hard and just killed a lot of the buds. But I think this year, if we can get away with it, another week of no freezing temps, we might see this thing just light up brilliantly. The other thing is, all these bright colors, well, like I said, it's a white, but the brightness of it attracts the deer. Now, the rhododendrons are poisonous, and the deer don't mess with them. And I know I get people saying that deer eat rhododendrons in their area. You guys have robot deers, man. They're just super deer. But these things are poisonous, but they will come along and they'll nip these buds when they see that bright white. They come over. So there have been a couple of years where I've had these things taken out by deer, not the plant, just the flower buds. Gets a little depressing when you're waiting all winter for it, but hopefully we get lucky this year. I am so excited for this. All right, so that's where I want to address this right now. So I'm so excited for all this to start blooming, but I've been seeing some comments on the YouTube areas where people are saying, you know, one guy, I read this comment this morning, and he said, I want to propagate magnolia. And at some point I'm going to make a video about southern magnolias, the evergreen varieties, but I just haven't yet. But they are taken about the same time as rhododendrons, semi-hardwood cutting. So, you know, the end of summer, early fall, somewhere in there, on bottom heat through the winter, and they're going to root just fine. Now, what this person said to me is, I'm really struggling with it. And when he told me what was going on, I thought, I don't think you're really struggling with it. So he said he stuck the cuttings in October and he put them on bottom heat, and they're in his basement, I think. And he said, they're rooting, but they're not growing yet. Well, you're doing great, man. They're rooting, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And you're not going to see them doing anything yet. They're not going to put on new growth yet until the weather starts warming up. You get them outside in the sun, and they get a good amount of roots on them. Then they'll start growing. A lot of these evergreens, these broadleaf evergreens like rhododendrons and magnolia, they don't grow all summer long like the deciduous plants. They send up a spurt of new growth in the spring and early summer, and then the rest of the season, they're just putting on buds for the next year. So when I root my cuttings of rhododendrons, I stick them and I have them in that frame for a year and a half before I even mess with them. Now, that's a little bit, long of a period of time. Plenty of people out there root these things, and they'll root them within 3 months or so, and then that spring they're potting them up. I don't like to do that, and I have a system and it works fantastic, and I get awesome growth and really high percentages of rhododendrons that do well after they root and then moving forward with the system I use. So I leave them in that frame for a year and a half. They don't start sending off new growth. So I take the cuttings in fall. They don't start sending off new growth or growing or doing anything that you notice with your eyes until the next spring and summer. So if this guy is sticking cuttings of magnolia in October on bottom heat and he's getting roots by now in the winter, he's doing great. This spring and summer, those things should start growing well, and then they'll slow down and stop through the winter next year. So I guess the key to this video right now is, 1, the snow lady rhododendron, but 2, just be patient. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, I made a little video last summer about patience, and I'll put a link up in the corner here down in the description below. You should go watch it if you want to have a couple minutes of laughing at me. But anyway, patience, guys, that's all it takes. You're on the right track, you're doing a great job, and remember, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So if you guys like this little update about how the rhododendrons are doing, even though we're early on in the season and you want to see what's blooming when and how things progress through the landscape, just let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to follow along and see what's going to happen this spring and summer. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.